All right, guys, what is up? We have another absolute crazy video for you today. If you guys didn't watch, and I was lucky enough to be watching Rax's stream live yesterday for the new dev chat for Diablo for the next season, I believe it's season 11, and Blizzard cooked themselves. If I was Mark and I was Jonathan from GGG, I would have watched that live stream and immediately had a celebratory beer. I would have went to the club. I would have had bottle service because they have officially won the entire game. Blizzard is cooked. Cooked. Completely cooked. We know why Adam Fletcher left. We know why he's gone. Sorry, I was trying to play this in the background. My bad. This was the most unbelievably shit season that I think they may have ever produced. Now, what are they doing that made it so bad? Well, let me explain. It started off okay. They're redoing a lot of how the damage works. However, they made a comment, which I don't like, is basically the mobs won't just like pack up anymore. So now it's going to be more like you have to go click and kill every individual mob. Bad change, Blizzard. Bad change. Okay, this change, terrible, makes 0 sense, shouldn't have done it, awful. Okay, that being said, the biggest things was the tower was supposed to be the main feature of the season, right? Which is supposed to be competitive, supposed to be like a ladder, right? Basically, we are finally getting Diablo 3 and Diablo 4. Congratulations, Blizzard. However, what happened? They delayed it. It will not come out in 2025. It will not come out until a patch in 2026. And when it comes out, there will be 0 benefit for you to do it. The leaderboards won't be out. There will be no loot. It's just go test our shit. If that's where they have it and that's what they want to do, Blizzard, just release it with the beginning of the season. Make anybody have a reason to play, except for the fact that they've already killed that reason to play. And the reason to play was this. It's supposed to come out Tuesday, right? So today, they had the live stream yesterday. Typically, their seasons come out on Tuesdays, typically at a normal hour, right? Like early PS or early Pacific time. Instead, these morons, there's no other word. Like, there's a word for them. Trump used it recently for Tim Walz. There's a word for Blizzard. And we all know what it is. They made the most worthless bonehead move. Like, we know why Adam Fletcher's gone. Because it was either this or he jumps off a tall building with no parachute. Because this game is cooked. Cooked. They moved it to Thursday. Next Thursday, the 11th. At a decent time so that people get, a good 24-hour head start before Path of Exile 2's new patch? No. 8:30 Pacific time. 11:30 Eastern time, which is what I'm on. Which means that I will play the new season. Once I get done with work that morning, I get all my stuff caught up for 2-3 hours until the season launches. I would recommend this. This is honestly what I would recommend. I would recommend that if you're a streamer and you're as fed up, because here's what happened. Rax did his normal video. I watched his reaction live during the live stream. At one point, he had his hoodie pulled over his eyes like this, just like this. Like this was his reaction. And keep in mind, Rax has tried to stay positive on Diablo 4. He's interviewed the devs, 2 of the devs, multiple times this over the last little bit. He's been trying to help these guys. And, oh yeah, I'll pause it here because here's their new powers. I'll get into that next. And it's so embarrassing that if I were a streamer who had the ability to get subs, I would boycott playing this season. I would 100% boycott playing this season. I wouldn't stream it at all. At all. I wouldn't be there at launch at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Wouldn't be there. Wouldn't play it. Wouldn't care. I don't care if they're giving away 2 gifted gets you something. Purposely show Blizzard that what they have done is incredibly stupid and incredibly terrible, and we're done with it. Okay? I can't tell you how stupid this entire season is. Here's what we're getting in this season. Here's this season's powers. What are they? They make it so you can farm stuff. Like it's a more targeted farm in the end game. That's their seasonal power. That's their big selling point to come back and play this season, is you can target farm end game stuff better. This whole thing should have been one of the changes, not the seasonal theme. But because Blizzard has the IQ of a Somalian, they literally have no fucking clue what they're doing as game developers. They don't know how to do anything besides powers. We've seen this an entire year now. It's, well, what powers are we going to do this? This is all they know how to do. So instead, their powers this year are basically a shitty, cheap version of an Atlas tree. That's what their powers are this year. That's what they are. It is a complete joke. They brought back capstone dungeons. So they had a system in, they removed the system, and now their big feature for the season is putting the system that they removed back in. What? Who's in charge? Who's in charge at Blizzard? You should be fired. You should lose your, like, you should have woke up today and your key fob to get in the building doesn't work, and they don't even waste their breath enough to tell you you're fired. They just write it on the front door. Your key fob doesn't work. You suck. You're fired. That is what they should have done. Today. If I worked for Microsoft and I was in charge of Microsoft, I would have watched that live stream and immediately said, pull the plug, we're done. The whole team's gone. I don't care when the next season's coming out. This is horseshit. We're going to interview every single person personally, and we are going to get rid of all the DEI hires, all the dead weight. This is, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The only difference between GGG and Blizzard and GGG massacring Blizzard is GGG hires the best talent. Blizzard hires diversity. If I did blackface, I'd have a better chance of getting hired at Blizzard right now than half of the fucking people they have working on this program, because it is a complete joke. This season is laughably bad. No, I will not stay up and play. This might be the first season that I don't play. I haven't bought anything in the game since they changed the battle pass to reliquaries, because reliquaries suck and they're more expensive. So I haven't given them $1. And if you go through my account, like if I showed you my account, I got some skins. I got some micros. I've spent some money. And I haven't spent $1 since. I'm not spending $1. They said they delayed it because the gaming awards are on and they don't want to release it until after that, which means that they're probably going to do like a free weekend, right? Just like Path of Exile 2. They're going to do a free weekend for Diablo, or they're going to announce the expansion and have an expansion sale on season launch, because their board members thought that was a good marketing ploy. Now, again, they will milk. Blizzard does know how to milk its player base. They do know how to do it. EHG should take a lesson out of their book. Just don't make shitty seasons. But everything else that Blizzard is doing is trash. It's complete trash. They have no vision for where this game is going. They'll add one shitty thing for casuals and then one shitty thing for blasters, and they don't have an identity. You need to choose, okay? Look at games like Torchlight Infinite. They monetize the fuck out of their game. There's gacha, there's everything else. But if you're casual, there's an easy way for casuals to play. And if you're extremely hardcore, the game can get as hard as you want. And you can get better and better shit. In Diablo 4, you can make the game as hard as you want. It is the exact same mythic uniques. It is the exact same gear with the exact same stats. Why? Because, oh, well, if you can clear Torment 1, you can get all the end game gear. So there's no actual incentive to build your build, to get into higher difficulties, to get into the end game of end game of end games and get better shit. You're not going to get better shit. Why? Because it has to be inclusive. And this is the mentality. This is the mentality that is killing this game. You know what? How about you come out and say this? If you suck, you can't get the good shit. You can get to here, but in order for you to get to here, you're going to need this stuff. And you can't get this stuff unless you're doing this and this and this. And this shit's hard. Right? Like, it's not complicated. That's why people play video games. Like, when I look at some of these builds that cost mirrors on Path of Exile or cost 50,000 FE in Torchlight, I go, holy shit. Like, I have to get into here so I can farm enough currency to even be able to buy some of this stuff. Right? Like, and that's the game. The game becomes the farm and the progression so that you can unlock shit to get to the next level and go get that thing. Right? Like, if you think you're going to go buy a 400 divine build running blue T16 maps, you're not. Now, in theory, you could, but you're not. In Diablo, you can run on tier 2, Torment 2, trust me, I've done it, get all the endgame gear, and then immediately turn it to Torment 4, blast the whole game, and there's no reason for you to keep playing at a harder difficulty. You do not get more shit. Yeah, you get Paragon points. Who cares? Once you're over 250 Paragon points, it doesn't matter. I would argue that once you get your 5th board unlocked, it doesn't really matter. Yes, your guy gets more powerful, but more powerful for what? They have not solved this problem. And the reason they have not solved this problem is because they do not have a clear vision and track for where they're going with this game. And it's fucking embarrassing. Not only that, but they made the other cardinal sin. They are going to compete with PoE 2 when PoE 2 is releasing the Druid, the class that Blizzard has fucked since Jump Street. And I guarantee you, that's just one of the things they're releasing. That's not the season. That's not patch 0.04 or 0.4. That's a feature along with whatever Vol is. So whether it be Vol Temple, whether it be whatever, we don't know. And all the other shit that they're going to be adding with the Druid, including skills, which are usable by all classes, including gems, which are going to be usable by all classes, including weapons and other things which are usable by all classes. And there's probably a whole bunch of other shit that they've been cooking. Why? Because every time GGG releases a patch in the same amount of time as Blizzard, it's 10 to 15 times meatier than what Blizzard does. They have more budget. Blizzard's a bigger company. They have more people. And yet their production level is 70 to 90% less per season than Path of Exile. Compound that over 2 years, and what do you have? Path of Exile is ramping. Diablo 4, already a meme. Already the worst ARPG in the genre of the big names. right? The most disappointing ARPG ever when you consider the hype and the budget and everything else and the lore and the legacy. And they've done powers, shitty Atlas tree for your powers. That's been their expansion so far. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You can't do the thing that you beta tested in the PTR because it's not ready. So we're going to release it late, which doesn't matter because no one's going to give a fuck. Like, no one's going to play Diablo 4 this season because they decided to take a shot at the king, thinking that they are the king. And they are going to find out they are not the king. They are far from the king. They are an out of shape, shitty boxer going up against the absolute title heavyweight holder in GGG and a game that is ramping insanely. You guys are so cooked. You guys are so cooked. You should, honestly, you can't do this, right? You can't just stop making the game. You can't because you're Blizzard. But the only thing you can do at this point is you need to find your best talent. Find your top 10%. And then what you need to do is you need to interview these people and say, hey, as a core, you guys are going to run the game. Here's how we're going to run the game. And there's not an amount of money you could pay me to do this for you, but I would be the best person to do this for you because I am the literal antithesis of what you've built so far, and what you've built sucks. So let me tell you what I would do. I would take all the top people that are left, that are still good. I would then go to all the top streamers that enjoy my game and want the game to win, right? So Asmongold's out because he doesn't want the game to win and he doesn't play it. I would be getting Mippy. I would be getting Rax. I would be getting Rob. I would be getting Woody Joe. I would get those. I would even honestly get Darth because you could get Darth if you got those other guys. I would get mods. I would get these guys together and I would say, hey, every week we're going to do a call for the next 8 weeks. We are going to be completely transforming this game over the next 6 to 12 months. What sucks about this game and how would you solve it? And you're going to get way better ideas than every douchebag who you've currently hired, because whoever's the idea person in this game should be thrown in the darkest dungeon and left to rot. This is insanity how bad this game is. It's insanity. No one knows anybody on this live stream anymore. We used to know Rob and Adam were going to come out and deal with whatever problems they created last time. We knew this. And at least we knew that those guys gave a shit. No one knows who any of these people are. Like, look, you got the guy from fucking, like, what is this? This is the guy from Bad Santa, the kid who grew up. Like, he looks like if the kid from Bad Santa grew up. This is the only normal look. Like, he was probably the anti-DEI hire. He's like, well, we got to have one normal-looking white guy. This guy was sleeping the whole time. This guy just nodded his head. I don't know what this guy's doing. And this bitch stared at the floor in a sheep sweater. And it's weird that all these sweaters are the same exact size. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? Unbelievably terrible job. You guys are cooked. Your whole season's fucked. No one's going to play it. Your Q4 numbers are through the floor. And once your Q4 numbers go through the floor, then heads will be removed. Because remember, all that they care about is the bottom fucking line. And you guys, this is the only way we can get back at them as gamers, is to show them with our wallets how shit this is. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. All right, guys. So if you're watching the stream, I'm doing videos today. I do apologize, but that's what we're doing. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do a actually pull up my channel. This has 330,000 views. Hang on, guys. I want to. I'm the second highest viewed video on his channel, behind Charlie fucking Rocket. Interesting. Okay. All right. I got to pull up some gameplay, guys. Hang on just a second for this next video. What? No, I want my channel. There it is. Nope. That's the wrong one. This is the right one. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me just pull up a stream. Where's live? All right. All right. There we go. So I'm going to let this play in the background. It should be muted. All right. Let's do this. Let me turn this on the highest quality. All right. Video number 2. All right, guys, let's talk about PoE patch 3.27 final thoughts. I loved it. I thought it was okay. I've been playing it this whole time. I only leveled 2 characters this season, mainly because of the fact that the leveling process for me in this game is just not as good as some of the other games. So I did. Obviously, I started with the Wander, which I was very thankful I chose Jungron's build to start. After playing the other build that I built, the Siege Ballista, Siege/Shrapnel Ballista, this build, night and day better, a million times better than the PoE guy build. Thank you, Jungron, for that. This build, I literally have only, so this was the first season that I actually did like the highest end game farming stuff, and I ended up getting a Svalin and a Apothecary double drop within 2 maps of each other. So I went from like 10, 20, 30 divines to like 150 divines. It was awesome. Okay. So I have dropped probably 100 divine, 120 divine now in this character. My Shrapnel Ballista, I've spent probably more than that. And it's just not anywhere near as strong. But I love the new wand changes. I thought the new breach system, I thought the hive was actually what I thought was the worst part. So I don't know what you guys think, but I thought the hive, after you've done it like 2 or 3 times, just wasn't that good. Even as a farming strat, once they buffed it, was it better? Yeah, but to me, it just wasn't great. So I love the first 2, though, where you have the option of doing the waves, or you have the option, just do the normal thing. I did enjoy those changes. I thought that was good. That being said, Outside of that, I didn't notice really any difference besides the wander changes and then just those slight blight changes. I really didn't notice much else. Um, so for me, if I had to rank it, I've heard some people call it a maintenance patch. I would say that that's probably a pretty fair assessment. I would give it probably a 6.5 out of 10. Um, I thought it wasn't bad, right? Like I thought it wasn't bad at all. But I, replayability, obviously, it's lasted me as long as it needed to last because now we're going to start focusing again on PoE2 with the new season announcement coming and the new season as well. So I'm super excited for the new PoE2 season, especially with the absolute shit show debacle that was Blizzard season 7 or season 11 announcement. My God, what a joke. GGG, great job on this one. Outside of that, I thought the adjustments that they did to the endgame mapping difficulty, etc., I thought it made it much easier. And obviously, for somebody who's more of a casual player like myself, it made it so I could actually do it. And so it was really fun to be able to actually earn like significant divines, even though that they said this was more of a poverty league. Like for me, it was the best economic league that I've ever had because I never was able to really do all that content. So obviously, the more you play a game and the more seasons, and especially in this game with the learning curve, the better and better that you get, the more and more you're going to make, right? Because the more and more content you understand and the more and more concepts your brain can comprehend, right? And so for us old heads or us, you know, um, less blaster style players. I thought this season was a huge improvement in that step, if that's what they were going for. So kudos there. The leveling process for me was incredibly dull. I skipped the hive stuff almost the entire time on my second character because it was more of a waste of time than anything else. I didn't really like it. And I obviously had the currency to buy gear at that point. So I would just level, I use the same leveling strategy that I use for all the GGG games, which is obviously your first one's the grind. After that, you don't start the second character until you have the income to be able to just gear them out, right? Like that's just kind of how I do it. So there's the league starter, and then there's whatever you want, which is what everybody recommends. And I followed what everybody recommends. Seemed to work well for me, so that's why I only leveled 2. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. I know I've watched a lot of videos on it, a lot of people's opinions on the season, but I thought from my point of view, which is not a blaster, but someone who plays video games as a hobby, I thought it was a 6.5 season for sure. I enjoyed it a lot, but yeah, like I said, at the end game, there wasn't as much to do. Luckily, PoE's end game is absolutely fantastic. I did not try out the heist changes at all because I don't like heist at all, and so I just didn't try them out. I didn't try out any of the June changes because I don't understand June and I don't want to learn it. So the typical strategies I used were, obviously strong boxes. I did a lot of blight. I did some Harbies. I did some delis. This build is amazing for delis. It's amazing for Harbies. It's amazing for boxes. It's amazing for everything, right? So I thought it was a good season. Not great, but good. And super excited about the next PoE2 patch. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were in the comments.